So here we are at the top of Ashio, and we can see what the pollution did. It looked something like this in Showa 52, which is about 1977. And the pollution here destroyed plant life and therefore also other animal life within this area, within these three primary valleys. And obviously there's restoration efforts. I mean, we've gone from something like this to something like this, and you can see that looking out over here. So we should expect the mountains to have a large amount of foliage, a large amount of tree life. There are trees from replanting efforts, but you also see a lot of bare areas. You see over here some they have leveled areas to create a step sort of effect in order to stop or reduce landslides. So this is the effects over 100 years on of the pollution that took place here. And it's still a very large project to begin restoring the area. Incidentally, within these valleys were villages at the time of the pollution, which ceased to be, primarily due to the effects of the pollution. Over in this direction is, well, here's a dam, that's why there's the sound of gushing water, and other areas being restored, as well as an environmental centre. Here I am at the former Ashio Copper Mine. This is Furukawa Bridge. In the background is the old smelting works and other sections of the mine, the train station for example. The mine was closed in the early 1970s. It's been active for hundreds of years, mining in this area, but it's sort of became famous, at least internationally, following its acquisition by the Furukawa company. And famous in particular for causing one of the first major pollution incidents in Japan. Now, most of the buildings from the time that the mine became notorious for polluting no longer exist. The mine sort of started polluting in the 1980s, and this peaked in the 1890s, and then there were measures by the government from around 1896, 1897, and in the early 20th century, which encouraged the company to begin cleaning up its act. Not necessarily the effects of the pollution though. So, within that period, and up until about 1907, there was a large sort of infrastructure of mining up this valley straight ahead of us. A lot of these buildings were destroyed in the 1907 Ashio riots. These buildings are much more recent, 20th century buildings from a more modernized operation. So, what was the pollution incident? Effectively, I guess it's got several facets to it, several aspects. There was direct pollution into the river from disposing dynamite, slag, and other materials. There was smoke-based pollution, which caused the death of plant and animal life up the river due to the way that the wind blew. And then, because of the destruction, especially of tree life north of the river, landslides, large-scale flooding contributed to problems downstream. And that flooding, bringing contaminated waters, contaminated large areas of land downstream. It's difficult to think about human effects. We know that birth rate in Ashio, rates of fertility halved due to the pollution, and infant mortality rate doubled. And that's in comparison to the rest of Tochigi Prefecture at the time. There are also reports of health issues such as women being unable to lactate. Upstream, as noted, all animal and plant life was destroyed. That includes insects, birds, and several villages were abandoned because of it. So, that is a brief history of the pollution here at Ashio. It's something I find very interesting. I haven't scripted this, so it's probably going to be very rough, but I hope you enjoy watching it if I get round to uploading the video.